I don't like that.
That's what I do as a pastor.
Hello and good evening. It is Wednesday, November 17th, 2021, and we just finished watching the 9th episode of Survivor 41, Who's Who in the Zoo, which we found out tonight. I'm Dave Mader, joined with Jaemeel Robinson here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting. Regrets for my brother Jeff Mader, who is ill tonight, as we had a double eviction tonight, if we were talking Big Brother terms. Two people voted out of this game in two smaller groups of 5, and we're here to break it all down tonight. We are here streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or you might be listening to us on the audio version. Wherever you are absorbing this podcast, we welcome you. We accept you. We love you. And thank you for being with us. Lots to talk about. We have some commiserations to get through tonight. With all these two vote outs, we lost Nasir and we lost Evie. They are now jury members that joining Tiffany, in the feast. And so we got to talk about all this tonight.
I feel for you. I seriously, my heart went out to you.
Like Nasir, who I have in the draft. I think he was a fan favorite. I don't think I'm the only one sad to see Nasir go tonight. But I don't really think they were ever going to let him win. So it was only a matter of time.
He could have won out.
He could have won out if only he could have felt his right hand tonight. He might have been safe for this vote, but he got disqualified.
We'll talk it through because I have some feelings about that challenge in general.
Yeah, I thought it's about staying up on the ledge, not necessarily about your hands.
They did break it down. They did break down the hands, but okay. The way they described it was you keep your hand on the bar and your feet on the ledge. Even if it's on the sides, your hands are still on the bar. In my opinion, you're still touching. What happens if someone holds it like this, right? Like, or puts their they quarter their hands, right? Technically, they're still in a sense holding it, like they're putting resistance with their hand. I felt that Nasir was given a raw deal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought it was a little tough. I get rules are rules and whatever. But he couldn't even feel his hand after the challenge. He could, this took a toll on him. Yeah, he couldn't even clap. He's like, I think I'm clapping. I can only tell from the sound. So there was a lot going on here. This was only covered about 2 days of the game. This episode tonight, and one of the shorter in terms of time periods that we've had, because there's only 10 days left. This is a shortened season of Survivor. Today, this episode, I guess, would have covered day 17 and day 18, as Tiffany had been voted on day 16. So, and we got a little bit, I guess, of that in the beginning of the episode tonight, where we saw there was kind of more of those fireworks erupting between Deshaun and Shan, more specifically, as we saw kind of in the preview last week.
Shan is starting to piss me off a lot.
Yeah, he's not. Deshaun and Shan continue their issues. They're not always hearing each other, and we saw that Deshaun was not down with this plan that Shan tried to propose at the last chaotic tribal council, which was, let's vote out Heather now, because Heather wanted to get out Nasir, which is ultimately what she got tonight. She got her way instead in this vote instead of the last one, but Deshaun wasn't for it. He was like, no, I don't want to vote out Heather. That's not the point. So they end up voting out Tiffany anyway, and so I'm a bit disappointed, not just with how the Nasir vote went tonight, but also, Evie, who I also think made some mistakes and kind of, didn't deserve to win, but I am disappointed to see her go as well in this one too. But yeah, let's get into it, because a lot of what I saw tonight, Jaemeel, was the fact that this alliance, this power alliance, as dysfunctional as they are, They are. They do seem to kind of follow through with their plans more often than not. Even though they threaten to turn on each other all the time. In the end, they seem to like Deshaun and some of the more wild members of this alliance do seem to come through. Oh, look who's with us.
I had to come share my thoughts.
Okay.
The show compelled you.
You were compelled?
What are they doing? Doing 5-person tribals in the middle of a merge. Don't like it. Second, Nasir should have seen that coming. Third, Deshaun, what the hell?
What the hell, Deshaun?
What the hell?
Yeah, like, well, he showed who's who in the zoo.
So I think we're gonna find out like who's who in the zoo when it comes to who's telling the truth and who's not. So we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't really understand either vote. The first vote should have been Nasir, Heather, and Erica voting together on Ricard. And, the fact they didn't do that just shows how bad. Like, Heather, one of the worst Survivor players I've ever seen.
And I have her.
One of the worst I've ever seen, followed closely by Danny.
Danny, yeah, but safe. He's safe. So how bad can he be, Jeff? Like, he's always safe. No one ever wants to vote him out.
Yeah, because he's not a threat to anybody or anything in that game. He's like Jaemeel has said, he's the perfect person to bring to the end. Nobody's giving him the money. He's already an NFL rich superstar. Like, he's
third place.
He's third place. He's oblivious to the game. Like, Ricard and Chan, perfect person to bring third. He's not going to get the votes.
But he doesn't know that.
He doesn't know anything about this game.
All we're going to hear after this season is over is how much of a wonderful experience Survivor was and how it challenged him both emotionally and physically. Survivor's a lot tougher than, people make it out to be. That's all we're going to hear. Nothing about how much he wanted the money, how he was so close, how, if only there's going to be no regrets because it's just a vacation for this dude.
For Danny, yeah.
Yeah, for Danny.
Like, he's not even trying in the competitions. Like, he's like, like the other guys are like just shaking. And he's like, I've done 10 minutes? That's enough.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
You thought he like threw this kind of tonight?
I just think he's comfortable. He doesn't need to win that competition. You're not only in the game, but in life.
I always get this impression Danny wants to win every competition just because that's how Danny is. Like, but
he wants to win it if it's easy for him to win it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I have yet to see any of these celebrities or these former like players really like break themselves to win something. The desperation, like Nasir looked like he could have died. Like, Deshaun looked like he was crying. He had it was either sweat or tears after falling. There was nothing from Deshaun. Deshaun was like, he yawned and then he fell.
That, and also like,
you mean Danny, right?
Danny, sorry.
Yeah, and Xander was like shaking, like physically shaking, and like could barely walk. Danny's not putting his body through that to win that necklace.
Yeah,
when he even has an idol already to begin with.
Right. Okay, let's talk about the challenge. I want to talk about the challenge, but before that, there was just some setups here. So we saw that, Deshaun and Shan as the dysfunctional alliance leaders, if you will. He keeps talking about, I don't want to work with you, but they kind of keep mending fences. Like, they remind me a lot of Big Brother alliances, these two, who always are threatening to turn on each other but never do. We also saw that Nasir and Heather were kind of saying, I don't trust you and you don't trust me, and Nasir's like, own what you did, mama. And you were trying to get me out. She's like, I never voted you out. I wanted to get you out, but I didn't actually vote you out. And then Xander's over there. I was the one who actually voted for Nasir, but I'm not going to say anything because I want them to fight with each other. But And he ends up in the other vote tonight anyway. But yeah, like, so there was some setups here about how there was mistrust going around. Leanna was like, she's got a definite beef or a grudge against Xander because, you know, Xander did the whole move where she tried to take his idol and he got her and whatever.
Made
so
her look
she,
like a fool.
yeah, so Leanna's mission in life is she doesn't even care about winning as much as she cares about getting Xander up before her. So that's like her main thing.
She's the next worst Survivor player going right now. Like, she's terrible. Like, she's
Leanna?
like Leanna, one of the worst, one of the most unrootable players I've ever seen. Like in no way do I want her to do anything good. You, first of all, in Survivor, you never ever verbally cheer against somebody in a competition. You don't do that. Like, because it's in no way good. To the rest of your tribe mates, you seem petty. To the viewer, you seem like an asshole. Like, you literally come across terribly. Like,
yeah,
it's awful.
Yeah, I agree that like it's poor sportsmanship too, just, you know, all around. And I just think, yeah, Leanna's like obsession is a little bit unbecoming.
Even Shan, the most selfish player in this game, is smart enough to cheer on, you know, Xander.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, good job, Xander. Good job. Even though she probably wants to vote Xander out because Erica has already won the immunity necklace. You know, she's smart enough to play nice. You know,
right? Yeah, and that's I think that was all like the setup we had in terms of like who was kind of mad at who and who, like, you know, little things like that. Sorry, and there was one more thing. There was a kind of a scene tonight earlier on where it's Xander and Erica there, and then it's like Danny and Shan and Rickard and Deshaun, I think, and maybe
all
somebody
five
else.
of them. It was the
like
four
five of them,
Ricard.
and they were like, "Hey, let's go here and strategize." And like they kind of do it right in front of Xander and Erica, and they're like, "What the hell, you know? And why don't we work against them?" But that never seems to happen. Why?
Because people are afraid.
Yeah, people are afraid, and like they even said it, like you saw it tonight, like when Evie was like, "Oh, you know, the powers that be," they basically called the Shan clan. You know, like right now, like this season kind of reminds me a lot of obviously Nicaragua, but it's also reminding me a lot of South Pacific with the coach like cult season. You know, it has a lot of those aspects to it. It's not religious in nature, but it's definitely like what I say goes. And if you try to say otherwise, it's like, how dare you? You know?
Right. Well, that's kind of what Deshaun was even calling out, right? Even to his own alliance members, because he's in this group and he was like, I know Shan was saying, let's vote out Nasir at the last tribal. And you guys are not Nasir, Heather. She was saying, like, let's vote out Heather. And Danny's like, okay. And like the rest. And Deshaun's like, do none of us think? Or do we just do what Shan tells us to do? You know, that's kind of like why Deshaun doesn't really fit in with this group, you know, as much as like Leanna and Danny do. And
Deshaun is smart enough to know, Dave, that in Survivor, you can't let one person take all the credit. You just cannot allow that to occur because if you get to the end of the game with that person, they're winning. You know, like they're going to win because they dominated the narrative of the show. And
what about Rickard though? He's pretty smart. He's okay with it.
But Rickard is not going to beat Shan unless Shan rubs enough people the wrong way, which he could.
Which is what he's counting on, right?
Yeah,
he's counting on it. I think a little. I think he's smart enough to know how Shan comes across, but he kind of like is using her as a weapon, very much like people used like Russell Hantz or people used Coach, like, you know, like Sophie very much did this, and that's how she won. You know, like she used Coach and his whole cult mentality as a weapon to make sure he didn't get the votes.
Well, and just maybe as a Big Brother comparison, like you think of like a Vanessa Russo, but think of like a Steve Moses, who, that's fine, Vanessa, you be the cult leader, you be the, you know, the alpha, and you call all the shots, and we'll all do what you say until I cut you at the final 3, and then I win. You know, is that
it's a difference of members of the cult, everyone drinking the punch, and you're the one who dumps the punch to the side, your cup, and you just pretend until you get to a point where you're the last one standing. And that's what Steve Moses did. He still had his wits about him, and
Right.
when time came, he was able to switch things on.
But in Survivor, you have to assume it's a final 3, not like Big Brother where it's a final 2. So
Correct.
so you're gonna, but like Sophie is the better example here, Dave, where like Coach and Albert were the other 2 people that sat beside Sophie,
Albert.
and Sophie was really smart because she figured out that Coach came across as a fakey McFakerton, basically, right?
Right.
And she was smart enough to know to come across authentic. Like this also happened in Samoa, where Russell Hantz was seen as this cult leader, even though he was the underdog the entire time. He took a group of 4 and beat like a group of 8 with it.
Yep.
So like you have to kind of like Russell Hantz should have got the credit there, not Natalie.
For one move that she made.
One move, which really was not much
Wow.
of a move.
They were that's just a bitter jury against they
didn't like him personally. That was
jury making a specific narrative for her to win.
That was specifically Russell Hantz's flaw in his game, was that he didn't really make sure that people would vote for him at the end. He just expected them to.
He didn't play nice enough. Yeah. That was his problem. But that's important. Like that's why I said like Shan is at least smart enough to know I got to play nice a little bit. Even with Deshawn, who's kind of butting heads with me, she's smart enough to at least toe the line. But like
she tries, but it's probably not enough.
It's not enough. I don't think it's enough because she comes across super abrasive. And then you kind of look at Rickard and you look at the way he kind of deals with her. He was really smart tonight, by the way. I think we should give Rickard a lot of props because he should have been the guy getting the votes tonight. Like Nasir, Heather, and Erica should have been smart enough to know to vote together,
but they weren't.
They weren't. And I said to Amanda, I was like, if I were Erica, I would have been like, Nasir, play your idol, and or like I would have done what Shan was afraid of. Like Erica is not a smart player. She should have been smarter here at this vote.
But the thing about that, there was going to be a 3-3 tie regardless. It was going to be a 3-3 tie
because of the extra vote.
Yeah, she used her extra vote, which if you're Rickard, you're happy about because that's one less advantage. Right? So you were able to control those 2. So you've made some inroads, right? You get the credit from their perspective because Sham didn't have anything to do with it. I still say Sham. I say it every episode, and I point out that I'm still saying it. I'm consistent. And at the same time, you got one advantage taken care of. Now, if I was Deshawn, and I'm going to switch over to Deshawn pretty quickly. Deshawn did not do himself any favors, right? Tonight.
He should have
if he got rid of, if his problem is Sham, he should have gotten out Liana.
Yeah.
He should have. Yeah, because once Liana is gone, right? Sham is easy pickings because Rickard is going to choose you over Sham.
Yes. I also think, okay, say we know it's a 3-3 vote in the first vote. If Erica was smart, she should have went to Nasir and Heather before the vote and said, we're putting our votes on Rickard, like right before the vote. And then they put the votes on Nasir. You get Nasir to play the idol, Rickard goes home.
Sure, in a vacuum, I agree. And like, what's kind of sad about this whole thing tonight was that like these Luvu 3, right, who ended up in that group, it was Nasir, Heather, and Erica. They've been together for 18 days, and they couldn't get on the same page here. They didn't.
And Dave, and kind of on the bottom of the tribe. Like those 3 were not controlling things at Luvu.
No, but I think you can put a lot of blame on Nasir for this because he put a lot of faith into Rickard, which he obviously should not have. I think he trusted Shan, and I think that was probably okay because she kind of wanted to keep him around for a little while, just because he went up and got papayas and things like that for her. But they were eventually going to cut him at some point, and Rickard was just like, "Nah, we're going to cut him." She even used her extra vote, and she split her votes tonight. She voted 2 different ways just to, I don't know, we got to break that all down. But yes, I agree that I wish it had gone differently, but there's a lot of blame to kind of go around. But coming back to that original point I had, which was like Erica and Xander on that beach saying, why don't we turn and flip to this on this majority alliance? Why don't we go after the Danny, Rickard, Shan, Liana, Deshawn? Why doesn't everybody who's not in that group work together? but they won't. They haven't at least yet, and they
haven't.
might until it's too late.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, okay. Are you guys kind of surprised that like Evie goes home in this episode? Like, I thought she was shooing for top 5.
No,
No.
I'm not surprised. No,
I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked Nasir went home tonight, but I'm kind of shocked that Evie went home.
She reeks of character that is going to be doing the podcast circuit. About how this game should have went, and
right.
That's her role. Sorry, that's their role. The only thing I was expecting was I thought there was going to be a scene where Evie changed their pronouns, because that's what I kept on hearing. So I always felt that they were not going to be voted out until the pronoun change was announced on the show, but that might be during the secret scenes or something else.
This for a fact, or you just suspect this?
I've read this somewhere.
Were they calling Evie like a her, or were
earlier they were?
I thought so. Yeah.
Earlier they were, and then there was a lack of pronouns being used, and I'm like, has the change occurred, or? But I kept assuming they would make a big deal about it because of new Survivor and how things have been going this season. But makes sense. It's Evie wasn't a character I felt that was going to make the end game. Right? I felt that they had a specific role, and they got to the merge, and a lot of the power was gone. And you see Xander has it, you see Sham, you see Deshaun, and you are seeing an uptick from Erica. Erica's being more involved in these conversations and in these scenes where that play an impact in the game. And I think we might be seeing more of Erica going forward.
Yeah, but not for long. I don't think Erica's is an endgame player. Like, I'll be shocked if she is.
5.
Really?
Now, Shan has anything to say about it. She doesn't trust her.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
what does that mean?
Shan doesn't.
I don't know.
Shan doesn't trust anybody but Shan.
I don't know.
And Leanna.
Like, I love that scene tonight where like Rickard's like, "That's the way this game works. You need to like allow other people and trust them to do the vote you want." She goes, "Well, I don't know about that."
Yeah. She would I would be like I would share a lot of Deshaun's and Rickard's frustration with her if she was an alliance member, but they keep her around, and they have been working with her. But
as Ricard works more and more with the group, her usefulness is going to disappear, because they're going to realize that they can have Rickard without having Shan.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to win Shan's number 2 spot, Leanna or Rickard? That's a good question to me, because they haven't voted together yet, really. Maybe once, Leanna and Shan, and it was like a straightforward vote.
I think it's Leanna who will win it. Rickard's too smart.
I think so too. I think Shan knows that too, and she's like, "Oh, I'd rather have the rookie rather than the guy who reads lips and is half deaf."
Speaking of which, did you know he was hard of hearing?
I didn't know that was like a thing. Like I could be the first hard of hearing winner. I'm like, really? There isn't, like, how do you know there isn't somebody else that's hard of hearing that's won the game? Like,
wasn't Lursa deaf in one ear?
Who?
Lursa.
From what season is that?
Lursa and Bator?
Yeah, I think like a couple seasons ago. We'll fact check in a second.
Yeah. I thought that was a weird kind of thing to want to be the first hard of hearing winner.
Yeah, I understood like his explanation about it actually being useful. That I agreed with, but the whole thing of being like proud of it, I'm like, okay, like that's stretch. That's
you still hear out of one ear though, right?
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know. It's kind of I agree. It was a little strange. It was I didn't really get it.
Yeah, I didn't fully grasp it either. Although I don't have that affliction. Like our friend Mott, he has that.
Amanda's brother has that. I don't think he would like look at it as something like
a badge of honor.
Like a badge of honor. Yeah, I just maybe he would. I don't know. I'd have to ask him. But I just think people on this show, Survivor, a lot of the time reach for like identity things that like make them different. It's the different Olympics.
Or what? How am
And-
I going to inspire somebody who's like me, right? Who's
Right.
also of this ethnicity, who's of this sexual orientation, who is who is vertically challenged, or whatever, right?
Right, but
what-
like Erica is a Filipino Canadian, right? And she mentioned it, right? But it's not like she's like, I want to be the first Filipino or the first Canadian to win the game or whatever. Like she doesn't like she's not framing it that way. She's just saying like this is who I am.
the
which
first
I-
winner under 5'2".
She might be the shortest winner if she ever wins. If she does win this, yeah. I can't
Right.
think of anybody shorter. Maybe Tina Wesson.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, yeah, everyone's different, right? Like, so there's kind of
Exactly.
like, everybody's unique, everybody's special.
Just because like you're not a minority too, like Xander is like, you know, the surfer bro white guy, you know, but I'm sure there's something about him that makes him different than everyone else, or makes him more unique, or you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, I do.
you know, like I just
Um,
like the identity stuff, like I think sometimes is really important, but I think they lean into it a little bit too much sometimes.
Well, I think you got to celebrate all the differences, right? Like it's kind of like, you know, what this is something that's unique to Rickard, but how interesting does it make the show? Like, like a little bit, I guess. Like, I guess I know something different about him.
Okay. Fact check. I listen no, but there was a Chrissy Smith from Survivor the Amazon.
She didn't
deficit-
win,
She didn't win, but
but I remember she was deaf. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the whole
like
thing.
fully.
I want to be the first deaf winner. Keep in mind, whatever type of attachments you want to put on the statement, I'll do it. I'll be the first. One with the hangnail. I'll be the first winner with bad cuticles and with like bad eyesight, whatever.
Yeah.
All that matters is at the very end it says winner. That's
Have we
all
ever
that
had a
matters.
Pisces winner?
Oh yeah. I think
You would want to be the first Pisces winner as long as you're a winner.
I'd want to be. if
I would
could be.
imagine every zodiac sign has won the game by now.
Well, we don't know that for. Let's fact check it.
Back to fact check.
All right, but back to let's go back to the challenge tonight and the immunity challenge. I was a bit surprised they split this up into these two groups of 5 and then had 2 separate tribal councils the way they did at this stage of the game, because, you know, they've been merged for a few days now.
Don't like it.
And they're continuing to kind of do either 2 teams or 2 groups, or it's like, I'm like, there's only 10 people. I don't know why they keep doing blue and yellow kind of splits here. And so it was all random here. Erica, and there was like whichever group, whoever lasts longest, it ends up being blue, outlasts yellow. So blue got the reward. They got the stew that Xander had been dreaming about. I got to play that. Where is it, Xander?
I have been dreaming of stew, and it hit the spot.
Oh yeah, you
Who
know
dreams of stew? Okay,
Yeah.
I did the fact check. It didn't take that long. Every zodiac member sign has
Sign.
one, but one sign only has one winner.
Which sign?
Gemini.
I want you to guess.
Is it the Pisces?
No, Pisces has 3 winners.
Of course we do.
I would.
Brian Hiddick, Bob Crowley, and Wendell Holland are all Pisces.
That Wendell.
Yes.
Gemini.
Nope. Gemini has 3 winners: Tyson Apostol, Nick Wilson, and Fabio.
Aquarius.
Are we going to go through all of them?
So it's not Aquarius.
Did we get it right?
It's not a
Capricorn. Capricorn.
No, it isn't. It is Sagittarius. Has 1 winner, and that is Vesepia.
Wow, and that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So what does that tell us about Sagittariuses?
Don't get along. Don't
Yeah.
navigate a social game very well.
Yeah, Sagittarians.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't really know how this tribe or this year breaks out for who's in what zodiac, but yeah, like so the yellow group, which Erica won, that came down between ultimately became between Erica and Nasir. That also included like Shan and Rickard and
Sham can't win anything. Sham cannot win anything. My
No.
gosh.
I also don't think she tries. I think she knows she's a power control freak, and like she knows that her spell is working on the majority
Yeah.
of these people. So she doesn't
Her
need
winning a bunch of individual immunities isn't necessarily what she needs to do anyway at this point. But yeah, she wasn't strong in this. Erica impressed me quite a bit. Just all that sweat that was coming off Erica's face. But Jeff, do you think Nasir got a raw deal here, getting disqualified for his hand? He couldn't feel his hand and couldn't get it back on the post here tonight, or do you think that was fair?
I think it was fair. I also think Nasir wasn't going to win that anyway. You know, I think he was basically done there. Like, I think he was going to fall. Like he was in the same. Oh no, he was in the group against Erica.
He just had to. He just had to beat Erica. That's all he had left. Rickard was out, and it was just him and her. And then Jeff says to him, "You got to get your hand back on there because it's on like the cap." And he's like, "I can't feel it, so therefore I can't control it." I guess. And the whole thing about this challenge is because
he hurt him. He could have moved it, Dave. I think he could have moved it, and he just kind of was like, you know what, this hurts too much. That's how I took it. What do you think?
Jaemeel and I were talking a little bit earlier, and we thought, this challenge has been around for a while, right? And so I guess, is the point of it you have to stay up on that little perch on your toes, or is it the whole experience that you have to get your hands behind there? You're almost like being crucified, really, right?
That's what I said to Amanda. It's crucifixion.
It's kind of,
Which is why Sham couldn't even hold on to it.
Right.
Shame.
Yeah, that's what she does as a pastor, right?
No, it is. It's basically like being crucified, except you're like this instead of like this. It's really the only difference. It's the same
Lion versus
idea,
lemon face.
Like you saw, like when Xander got off of it and his whole back was like this.
Yeah,
like that is what crucifixion does to you. It literally puts your back back, and then like your lungs go out, and then so. It's kind of a cruel competition. Like this is the one of all the ones they do where it's like hold on endurance and stuff. I feel like this one is the most cruel and painful to the contestants.
That being said, it's built for only one person, and that is the Dragon Slayer, Coach.
So Coach win this?
Coach has won this challenge. I'm pretty sure.
We should look at who has won this challenge.
Yeah, this was, I don't remember this one specifically before, who has done it and who hasn't. Interesting that like who kind of did well in it was like Erica, Deshawn, obviously Xander, and I guess Nasir was like the next best of those. They were like the top four in this tonight. Everybody else kind of didn't have it. And in the case of Nasir, gets thrown out because he couldn't get his hand, or he was unwilling or incapable of getting his hand back behind the post tonight. So Erica, I think in particular surprised me with this.
So Ty won this competition on Ka Wrong. Remember Ty?
Yeah,
he won it.
Was it Sai's favorite Survivor?
Yes. I'm trying to think who else has won this. I don't know how many times it's been played, but
like it was interesting to watch. Like I think 30 minutes was like how it maxed out at, and really came down like only Deshawn and Xander were kind of doing it for a super lengthy amount of time. Because Erica, once she won the yellow group, she didn't care about getting the stew. She was just I just care. I got immunity, great. Like I'm not gonna try to outlast these other two, which I think was probably a good move because she probably wasn't going to be able to do it. She was kind of lucky that she was able to beat Nasir in some ways because he's been so dominant in challenges, but in this particular one, he gets disqualified. And we did talk about Leanna being sort of not doing anything to help her game here, being so obvious about who she was cheering for to win. There was a lot of that going on, I thought. Sort of the people on the bench, like who were like, "Oh, come on," and
okay. I got it here.
All right.
Okay, so this challenge is called Uncomfortably Numb, which is kind of funny. The first time they played it was in San Juan del Sur, and Reed Kelly won it. Remember him? Reed. The gay couple? Yeah. Then Ty won it when they did it in Ka Wrong. And then Christian Hubicki won it.
Yes.
Christian. Okay. Yeah.
In David versus Goliath, the kind of like the super smart kid. And yeah, and then in 41 is the next time they've done. This is the 4th time they've ran this
So
challenge.
Coach has never done this challenge.
Coach has never done it.
Well, of those, sorry,
He's only been on a metaphorical cross.
But it's true. Like, yeah, if you look at the 3 guys that won this, actually, if you look at the 5 people that have won this, they're all pretty light, pretty short, except Reed. And yeah, like I think that's what you want. You want to be kind of a short, and 4 of them are men, 1 of them a woman. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I think-
Xander, kind of a big, taller guy, but lanky, right? And I guess Deshaun was kind of the one that was really maybe the most surprising here because he's not built for this challenge, but he did pretty well.
Sheer force of will.
yeah, he really, really like the NFL player is the one that I kind of laugh at, where like he could have went way longer, and
Yeah,
he's like, I'm not messing my feet up. That's what
I think so. He was like, "No, I need those." And so yeah, so the whole thing where they were split up and they sent the losing tribe, which was not tribe, a group, the yellow group, which Erica was the winner of. They sent them to the old Ua beach, the green tribes beach, which was apparently not too pleasant. Shan and Rickard both had to go there. They did not seem like they were nostalgic for it at all. There was, I guess, the life over there more uncomfortable than it was at the Luvu beach, which is now the Viacana beach, their merged beach. And this is kind of and we saw like the result. So we maybe can talk about the 2 votes or the 2 groups here, and let's talk about the yellow group, which was ultimately the one that Nasir gets voted out of here, because Nasir's like this is a red herring. Every time you see it, you know that if somebody's saying I'm voting you out tonight, that's definitely not what's going to happen. So the fact that we're seeing Nasir tell Heather here, sorry, Mama, it's an easy vote. I'm working with Rickard and Shannon. They want to vote you out, and I'm going to vote you out. So I'm just going to tell you now. I'm like, then Nasir, you are definitely done, is kind of what I'm thinking to myself at this point. That is what happens here. And he doesn't even want to. He didn't even play his idol. He left it in his pocket. He was so comfortable. He was so convinced he didn't need to play it tonight, right? And how often do we see this where people have idols and they don't play them because they're saving them for a rainy day?
Yes.
Okay. The first clue, and Amanda pointed this out, so I don't want to take credit for it, but the fact that Nasir didn't play his idol after he saw Heather not do her shot in the dark should have been enough of a clue for him to play his idol. You know what I mean? Like the shot. And I have to say, the shot in the dark, I really think I think they should keep that. It's the one thing that I've been like, I actually really like the shot in the dark twist. I think they should keep that permanently in the game.
Just so that there's a chance. Even if the numbers outweigh you, you can still get screwed.
Yeah, the fact that Heather didn't play it, even though she's saying I'm the easy vote tonight, then yeah, you're right. I don't think we can. I don't have a lot of sympathy for Nasir in this because I just think he doesn't really deserve to win. He kind of played like an idiot tonight.
I kind of feel like a lot of people don't deserve to win, but they're still in the game too.
Dave, this is a bad group of Survivor players. I mean, it really is. Just overall, like the only person I'm cheering for is Xander, and that says something.
Yeah.
I've dreamed of so many nights since it's aired. Like, this is made for me.
Who are you guys cheering for? Like, I'm cheering for Xander.
Nah.
Okay, Dave.
Not after tonight.
Really? Did you feel like it was hubris or something that kind of?
Well, he's kind of an idiot. Like he got played again tonight. You know, he doesn't play his idol for Evie, which he kind of should have, I think, but he doesn't. So he's saving it for a rainy day.
I don't think you should have played it for Evie tonight.
Well, he voted with Evie, and it didn't work. So
yeah, but like Evie thought she was safe. You know what I mean? Like
she said she had a 75% chance.
I feel like 75% sure that what I think is going to happen will happen.
Yeah, that she went home.
Was she sure she was going home? Because
I would have played her shot in the dark too. Because either she gets saved by an idol, she's safe by the shot in the dark, or she doesn't have her voters useless.
No, but the whole thing was tonight they were trying to show us that Deshaun and Evie were forming this bond, and they were going to go far in the game together. But that was all bullshit.
No, you know what? No, I honestly think Deshaun was being genuine at the time But who does it make more sense to pair up with, Evie or Xander?
I said,
Well,
okay. Are
yeah.
you saying that Deshaun is Deshaun going with the Leanna, Danny's, the Shans of the world, or is he going with Xander?
He's going
not
with
going
whatever. No, he's going with whatever works best for him at that time. Why would he? Why would he keep both Evie and Xander if he decides to change things up?
I could
Right?
see the argument for why take out Evie because she's getting votes. If she gets to the end of the game, she's a vote getter.
But
You
also,
know?
if you decide to go with Xander and Evie, are you Xander's number 2? No, Evie would be.
Right.
All right.
But
You would be the
who's
newcomer.
Who's he a number 2 for right now, or a number 1 for?
Deshaun?
Like Xander?
Yeah, no, Deshaun.
Danny.
Right. How's that going? You know
He's
what
not-
I mean? Like that. He's not a good player. You know, like I just don't see. Deshaun needed to pair up with somebody like an Evie to be able to kind of navigate himself to the end of the game. And I think
it's better if he does that with Xander.
maybe. I think
Or
you might be
Danny.
right.
No, not Danny. Danny is useless.
Danny,
Danny you take as your third.
Danny is like, yeah, a third wheel because he's the guy you want to sit next to at the end. He's the Phillip. He's the guy nobody respects and won't.
But
give the
he's
money
not
to.
the person who's going to help you get to the end.
No,
You need that
you're
other
right.
person.
Strategically speaking, he needs. But I don't think it's Xander either. Xander's not like he's.
Xander. Okay, I don't think you give Xander enough credit as far as like strategic play. I do think he's at least doing more than most of the other players combined. Like Heather and Erica and all these players this year, they're not doing anything. Like they really aren't. They're just going to tribals and going through the motions. At least Xander is kind of doing something.
Who's Sham going to take a shot at? If you work with Xander, who's she going to take a shot at? You or Xander? Xander. Leanna, who's she going to take a shot at? Xander or you? If you're Deshaun.
Right,
Xander.
but Xander has an idol, and who are those split votes going toward if you aligned yourself with him?
If he had
If
played,
it's you, Danny, and Xander versus another trio, I think you're pretty good.
Do you believe that Danny wants to work with Xander?
no,
Danny wants to work with whatever gets him farther.
Danny doesn't want to. I don't think so. I don't think Danny wants to work with Xander. I think Danny likes his little alliance there. I think he's very much in with Shan and Leanna, and I think he wants Deshaun along. I think who's the fifth? I guess Rickard's his fifth, but I don't think he's too interested in deviating from that very much. I think he wants to get out the big threats like Evie, like Xander and others. You know, Erica probably along the way eventually too. He's not. And I think Danny's just like, let's stick to the plan, and we're going to do the plan, and that's it.
Honestly, I think that the reason why Danny has that perspective is Danny has whoever's in front of me, I'm going to mow down type of mentality. So when they merged, Leanna and Sham were not competitors. They were members who joined their team. If that situation changes, if that concept changes, where it's him and Xander as a team with Deshaun, I think he will look at Sham, Leanna as enemies and want to mow them down. I think he's a simple person as whoever is on the enemy team is the bad guys and we're going to beat them. And that's it.
Football mentality.
I don't think he's changing his team anytime soon.
Well, if the team changes, if he gets traded.
Right.
If he gets traded, well, he gets traded. You know, he's got, but right now he's got no trade clause. And so, like, I think tonight, let's say that Xander plays his idol on Evie, right? And Leanna goes instead, right? Is it worth it? Would that be worth it for Xander's long-term game? Because now Evie's around for another vote. Leanna's gone. That weakens Shan and that whole group. Or are they just going to take their revenge on Xander?
They would still be behind 5-4 and they won't have an idol.
But he could win out.
But that doesn't mean anything. He can't protect all 4 people on his team. And then once they lose that next one, it's 5-3.
But he got played tonight anyway, right? He's already on the outs.
He did get played out anyways, but at the very least, there's a crack there. And the fact that Sham was not a part of that tribal council, right, is something that you can exploit. if everyone was voting together, this would have been a lot. I think it would have been a different tribal council in general.
Yeah,
Very different.
and I think like splitting these up into groups of 5 was kind of interesting, but also kind of like limiting because there was like less action that really could happen. You know, only 4 of them are vulnerable. One of them has immunity in both cases. And we haven't talked a ton about that first group, but this whole thing, like where Nasir got played tonight, you know, it's kind of like, well, sorry, Nasir, you kind of deserve it, in my opinion, you know, like for how much trust you gave to, especially to Shannon Rickard, who he barely knew, you know, and he had been working with Erica and, well, he'd at least been on a try with Erica and Heather for a while now. And
He didn't kind of deserve it.
He did.
He absolutely 100% deserved what he got tonight. You know, Evie, I think she did as well, but there was a glimmer of hope. There was a glimmer of hope that Deshaun voted their way tonight, and like I don't think Xander should have played his idol for her. I mean, even if it had worked, I just like it would have been good to get rid of Leanna. Then what? He's like literally the next to go home, most likely. Like, yes, he might have had a week because of Evie, but he's got a week because of his idol now. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the same math, you know. So,
are we down to 8?
We are
9.
now down to 8. 9?
Oh yeah, 8. Yeah, 2 went to
We're
1.
down to 8.
We're down to
So
8.
now, what is the? It's 5-3.
Yeah.
So who are the?
That's why I'm like getting Leanna out tonight might have been worth it. You know, I know it's still you don't have the numbers still, but at least it's a little better.
It would have been
okay.
4.
Wait, are the 3 Xander, Erica, and Heather? Is that the 3?
That aren't in the group? Yeah. Like, so Leanna, if you had taken out Leanna tonight instead of Evie, then it might have been different. But first, let's knock off Nasir, who we all agree kind of deserved it. Got voted out with an idol in his pocket. And we just went quickly on his exit interview, which was very quick because he had to basically just walk across and sit on the stump with Tiffany and join the jury.
Unfortunately, I was blindsided, but did I enjoy every single moment here? Absolutely, 100%. It was
So
my
happy to be
dream
here.
to be on Survivor and to enjoy Survivor, and I did it every single moment I'm here.
So happy to be here.
He said it was his dream to be on Survivor and to enjoy Survivor. It wasn't his dream to win Survivor. I wish I knew that before I drafted him, but you know, he's out here. So, but I think he's a great person this year, and I liked watching him here. But I'm kind of also fine with him being voted out here. I think Shan is my best chance to win this still, but you know, she's got an uphill battle. And then
Let's hope she lasts longer than my dude.
I can't believe, guys, by the way, like I still have both my players.
Erica and Deshaun.
Yeah,
you're looking
I
good.
crapped on you so much for your picks.
I think I deserved it because like I still don't get how both my players are in the game and Amanda's players are out.
Yeah, Amanda's done. Let's hear Evie's exit interview.
Well, you know, they got me. That's Survivor. I honestly am not exactly sure who flipped on me, but I was living on borrowed time anyway. You know, I did my best. I'm incredibly proud of myself. Like, I had an absolute blast. I can't complain. Survivor's the best game ever, and I'm so happy I was a part of it. Any queer kids out there, be yourself. You're amazing. Love yourself.
Okay, how do you not know who flipped on you? You know who voted with you. It was Xander. What did you think? Deshaun voted with you and Xander turned on you? Is that what you think?
She doesn't know.
That means they hoodwinked her so bad that she thought that it was multiple people that were going to be voting.
Yeah, she I don't think her and Xander really ever got on the same page, you know, ever. And I think that's her fault. I think for having backstabbed him so many times in the early parts of the game.
Yeah.
You know, and she didn't have a good relationship, and other players exploited that. You know, they said Xander, she was always trying to get you out. Especially Leanna knows that, right? Yeah. So she, you know, even though Leanna is certainly not his
but
friend,
you can kind of justify Leanna's attitude. Is like she is hanging, like Evie is hanging around Xander all the time and constantly wants to vote this man out. How can I trust that Evie isn't doing the exact same thing to me? Right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of understand that. Poorly played, mind you, but you can understand it. Evie, on the other hand, I think was hoodwinked completely hoodwinked. And,
I think she got overconfident with her relationship with Deshaun, and she just kind of thought Xander would. She assumed that Xander would vote with her, which he did.
He did, but he didn't save her.
But he also considered not doing it. Like I think, like when Danny was kind of like throwing her name out, I think he was kind of like, like he knew that the votes were coming toward her, and that playing the idol for her would save her, and he chose not to. And I think it's exactly what you both guys just reiterated. Like Evie's play early in the game, where she was like, Leanna's great because she's a woman, and it's like, come on, what are you doing?
I think if you're Xander, though, if you're not going to play the idol for Evie here tonight, then you ought as well vote Evie out and not be on the other side of the vote.
Oh, wow, you get her jury vote.
Yep.
I don't know. It
Evie,
just creates an us versus them.
Yeah. Once Evie knew that they were in a bad position, should have took a shot in the dark.
Right. Yeah, I think she thought she was getting through 2 vote tonight.
Yeah, she
she
got hoodwinked
by Deshaun. Deshaun was the one that kind of lied to her.
Here's the real question: who of our draft has the best chance to still win this?
I do.
I think you do, Dave.
With Shan?
Yeah.
You don't think Deshaun could win?
No.
Erica can't win?
Erica could win, but it'll be a come from behind if she does.
Okay. Leanna, we don't think will win.
No, unlikable.
So Jen's not looking too good. We got
Heather's
Heather. Heather's not going to win.
Heather's
unlikable.
Yeah. And then, okay, it's got to be Daryl. Look who Daryl's got. Danny, Xander, and Rickard. Like, can one of those win?
Always picks men, too. Like, you ever notice that? He's like, who are like the most athletic men? Those are who I'm picking. And it always works out for him.
Yeah.
Look. I didn't think I picked poorly. Maybe Jeannie. I should have picked her.
And Heather, you didn't really pick. Heather, you were assigned. So,
and it's the last thing. I thought Bochy would do so much better.
He should have, but that was Evie's fault, And so there was like a lot of things here where this game could have gone very differently a few different times.
I was starting to cheer for Evie, Dave, but I'm kind of glad she got voted out because like everything you're saying about her early game, and then the early game really does matter. Like, you know, you can't just get to the merge and hope everything works out for you. You need to play good in the early game.
Yeah,
all Evie needed to do was tell Xander, hey, they know about your idol. Deshaun's ammunition would have been completely worthless.
Right.
Would have been completely worthless. The fact that did not detail that information, I think, put that nugget of distrust in Xander that could never mend that bridge.
Xander should have really waited until Tribal to throw Leanna's name under the bus.
Tonight?
I mean, yeah. He should have waited until Tribal and threw Leanna's name under the bus and made her react on the spot.
Yeah. And say, I'm putting the idol on Evie. You all have to make a decision as to which one of you 3 are going to be eliminated. I'm putting my votes on Leanna.
That's
right?
a good,
right then and there.
That would have been like a Malcolm play. Like that would have been good gameplay.
And then not play the idol.
And then not play the idol. You play a bluff,
Yeah.
But I think you would have seen Leanna not lie well to Deshaun.
Yeah, and I just think that Xander wasn't inclined to go that far for Evie, right? Because he knew that he knew enough to know that Evie didn't truly have his back.
Evie was looking to jump ship and go with Deshaun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like even like last episode where they were all like throwing each other's names under the bus. Evie, Tiffany, and Xander. They were all scrambling, trying to latch themselves on. So that Yasi group, wow, how they fell from grace, eh?
Those crabs started eating each other.
Those crabs, those little sea turtles, they didn't do so well. Yeah, like I'd never seen a tribe so dysfunctional upon merge as this yellow group was.
Well, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Cook Islands, where you have like one person do the mutiny, jump ship, and then the other one stuck together. Except in this instance, none of them stuck together. Like it's just kind of like that's the only difference. Is in Cook Islands, it was like Yule, Ozzy, they all stuck together once Penner jumped ship, and so like that was important because they stuck together as like a 4 over like I think it was a 6 or a 7. On the other side, the 6 and 7 ate each other, and that's how and they kept winning challenges. It's kind of similar here, similar numbers, but yeah, that yellow tribe, kind of a mess.
That's why I'm all about the merge tribe.
You're about the orange tribe?
Yeah. This is the merge buff.
I thought the merge buff was red. That looks orange. Is it not?
It might be the lighting. I think it's orange though.
And I love the color.
I love the color.
Smells really good.
Smells really good. Oh man, yeah. I don't really think I think the best player, guys, really is Ricard. He's the best player playing the game right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear that he is the best player, and if he doesn't win, I mean, it's probably because of Shan.
I don't like that.
Because of Shan.
I don't like that.
Right? Like, you guys do agree like that Ricard's probably the best player out there right now?
Yeah, I have to say, like, he's the player that I've been impressed with more times than not. I've seen the way he has to work with Shan, and the way he communicates with her. And I understand his thinking. I think, like, this was a smart move tonight to get out Nasir, and I think he does it in a pretty smart way.
What happens if Nasir plays his idol? One, the idol is gone, and Heather still goes home.
Yeah, it was like win-win for Rickard, and like everything I've seen from him has, I don't like him really as a person per se, but I enjoy him as a player. I think he is smart, and I just kind of want to see him get voted out. I've wanted to see him get voted out since like the first episode.
Do you know
Abraham?
You said it's 5-3, but Xander also has an extra vote, guys.
Yeah, he still has his, right? And he could have played it tonight and maybe forced a tie, to keep Evie as well. He didn't have to play his idol necessarily. He doesn't do either. He's not using up his advantages on Evie.
A tie is only good if you have the numbers.
Right.
Actually, a tie would be great because, wait, what happens in the revote? Do you
can
still
only
have
vote
your
for the
extra
two
vote?
people. You can only,
but do you still have the extra vote?
No, because
Then-
we saw it tonight. Yeah,
No.
Shandon. She played her extra vote the first time. This was great for Rickard too because he got Shan to use that extra vote.
Yeah.
It was so dumb because she votes one way and she uses her extra vote the other way. She's like, "Look, I have 2 votes." I'm like, "What are you doing?"
She did the fishback. She did the fishback, which is the worst way to use your extra vote.
I'm like, don't even use it then. If you're gonna just cancel your own vote out, you ought as well just use your shot in the dark.
Just want to make it, just in case something. What if Nasir used his idol?
Well, what if? What would have happened? I don't understand. Heather would have went.
Heather would have went home.
You're assuming that Sham knew that they were going to vote, that people had enough votes on Heather.
They were worried, guys. Shan was
5
worried.
votes.
Shan was worried that they weren't going to vote Heather at all, and they were going to put the votes on Shan or Sham. And that's what they were worried about, Dave.
She was worried about.
She especially was worried about.
So she at least know that there were 3 votes also going in Heather's direction, or possibly if they did follow the plan, Nasir.
That's right.
I know I have Shan in the draft, but I've never seen somebody more paranoid than her. And like
because
if she
takes
wins,
big swings, and then she's like, she swings, and she's like, oh,
she's like,
I mean, the thing is, like, if she's smart, like, I'm just looking at who's left. Her number one person she should want to get out next, Deshawn.
That is not her number one target next.
If she gets Deshawn out, she will be able to bully the rest of this cast to the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
I agree. That is who she should want to get out. But who does she really want to get out? Erica.
Which makes no sense.
Because she's Canadian?
No.
Growing up in Canada.
Because Erica she doesn't have any relationship with her. There's no control there. There's no power. It's an unknown. It's a variable. That's what she doesn't like about her.
And because it's an unknown and variable, she puts like mysticism on the person. It's like Erica's the smartest person still left in the game. It's like, you don't know that.
She's not,
right?
No, Ricard is.
Right? But because she doesn't know, she's lasted so long, she must be super smart. And the legend grows.
Will
just-
Rickard be the one to turn on Shan in the end? You know, it's
Should
kind
be
of
better.
I hope
and
so.
when will
That'd
he?
be-
And when will he do it?
if
As
he
soon as
does,
possible.
like, I think he's gonna win the season, guys. I really do, because I think that's what's gonna happen. That he's gonna cut her at 4 or something, and it's gonna be like everyone's just gonna give him credit, and he's gonna deserve to win the game.
Yeah, it's all gonna be about that papaya.
I was so bothered when he took a piece of the papaya.
Yeah,
Papaya.
remember when I took the papaya?
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like.
I mean, I understand what he's saying. You know, like, I mean, he did just eat. But yeah, they're kind of like an old married couple, Shan and Ricard. They kind of fight like that, and they have this.
He's gonna put Sham in the home first.
Yeah, Sham.
I feel like this is a weird conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit weird. Who was? I feel like wasn't there somebody else? Was it Heather or somebody else was trying to get Nasir to give them the idol today? Who was it? Was it Erica or was it?
No, it was Leanna was trying to get Xander to give it to her, and
I was so proud of Xander in that moment, guys. I was just like, finally.
She's like, "Would you give me the idol as a sign of trust?" And he was like, "Oh, not to you."
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. I was like, finally, I was like, does nobody have any common sense anymore? And I was just like, okay, Xander at least does. He's no JR or whatever the hell, JD. Yeah, he's no
Damn,
JD.
that was a good blindside.
JD, man, you are one of the dumbest Survivor players. I've really dumb. Don't know what you were doing.
That was the beginning of like Shan overconfidence when she was able to like take that advantage and then vote him out. That was like where the monster was created.
And then they did the genie.
The monster's hungry.
The genie switcheroo, which was totally unnecessary.
Which the whole JD thing, her being overconfident about it, it's like you're bullying a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Right? You stole a 5-year-old's lunch. Don't be too proud of yourself, okay?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How the
Fingers on
heck
20.
did that just happen?
It's the same way, yeah, you would go up to like a 5-year-old and go, give me that ball. You know, that same way.
Yeah, but like Rickard, he can't be pushed around. Remember when he was arguing with her?
It doesn't
This is
seem
what-
you feel stupid.
I
but you're still
do
doing
feel
it.
stupid, but I still want the advantage back because I don't.
So
want...
you'll have 2 advantages. You'll have the
Yes.
credit for all the advantages. You'll get the choice between the 2 of us because she's going to break.
How do I know you're not going to blindside me?
Because I'm not.
So are you saying you're not giving it back to me? Is that what you're telling me?
I would not want to be in
I can't believe he's still working with her in some ways, but like he is. But
He's probably like, gotta resist the urge.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta work with you. You're all I have left on this tribe.
It's like,
I'm
one
not
more
working
day.
with JD. I'm not working with Genie. You know?
yeah, so he's kind of, and it's working for now because I think Rickard is also the most patient player. You know, he's not completely impulsive, but he saw an opportunity to get Nasir out tonight, and good on him. I think that he actually did play this well. You know,
Just imagine if JD was still in this game, right?
Oh my God.
Deshaun would have purposely like threw a challenge to vote him out.
oh yeah,
It's like if
oh,
we're
absolutely.
merged, I would still throw it. I want this dude gone.
Yeah, no, JD would not have done well in the merge tribe whatsoever.
Yeah,
Kobe!
I mean, it's so interesting, guys. Like, I mean, Survivor has really flipped on its head from the beginning of the game. When if Richard Hatch was on this season, and they got to the merge, and there was 1-6 Luvu, he would have been like, "Let's just put Gong. Let's just get one of the yellow or green people out, and then we'll put Gong them."
Yeah.
And he would have been able to convince his whole tribe to do that. But nobody plays like that anymore. Like nobody just like plays with common sense and just kind of goes, "Hey, like we have numbers. Who cares if we like each other? We have numbers."
They're like, no, I hate these people too much.
I hate these people.
I can't do it.
Okay,
This
do it.
Luvu group, they never really cared about their numbers. They had numbers coming into this, and they didn't use them. Yeah, it was because I don't know. It was like there was the shiny new Shannon Rickard came along, and like Danny and Deshaun and Sydney, they all latched onto that, you know, and it was kind of their undoing. The threat of threats, of course.
I am like the threat of threats.
But like,
And
I
the
think
interviews of interviews.
I think that's why we look back at like Kageon as being like a really good season, because like the tribe divisions there at the merge like made sense. Like people were actually out for their own best interests, and we were like kind of like, okay, this actually like works. This season is just a mess. It's a
It is.
mess of tribal alliances.
Who do you think is the most likely to be voted out next?
Everyone. Heather.
Heather, or I guess Erica.
But Rickard was right tonight. Like, why vote out Heather? Who cares about Heather?
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean,
I don't want her final 3, getting second place, right?
I don't know how Deshaun isn't close to going next. Like Deshaun is an obvious target for Shan. She's gonna wake up.
She doesn't think so.
She will. Because he's literally calling it the Shan clan. That's the person you get out if you're Shan.
Yeah. But right now she wants Deshaun to be in her clan. She wants Deshaun in her congregation.
Just because she needs the number, though. Not because she likes. I don't think she really overly.
I think she wants this alliance that's African American dominated. I think that
That's what I do as a pastor.
She brings.
I don't know if that's overly her mindset. I think she will take Ricard far.
She will.
Not past final 5. I don't think.
Oh, I disagree. I think she will.
I think she will.
I don't think she's going to choose her race over Rickard.
She's going to choose her over everything.
Well, of course she will. But I think everyone wants a story though, especially as you get down to the end. You kind of what's my survivor story? And I think maybe working with the other Black players, I think is maybe something she would be interested in.
I don't think she wants to share her story. And if she does it with that group, she's sharing her story as opposed to this is her story. She's the main actor. She's the main character. The other people are the supporting characters in her, her victory. Right.
Right. Well, who do you think, if you're Shan, who do you think she wants as the final 2 with her, or final 3?
Final 3, Leanna and one of Rickard and Danny.
Yep.
I think it would rather be Danny. I think it's more likely to be Danny because she can beat both Leanna and Danny. Rickard, she has a harder case against.
Yeah,
but I disagree. I think if both herself and Rickard are there, Rickard doesn't have a story that says that he controlled his own destiny. People are going to look too much at Rickard saying that he was Sham's minion and he did things on behalf of Sham and not out of his own violation.
Well, why would she get more credit than him? I don't understand. What is she? Why?
She's controlling the narrative.
She's the power broker, Dave. She's literally it's called the Shan clan, not the Ricard clan. You know what I mean?
But it doesn't make sense to me that this is where I disagree with you, Jaemeel. It's that you're saying that it's better for her to sit next to Ricard than to Danny?
Yeah. No, I didn't. No, wait. Hold on. I didn't say it was better. Right? I said that she would win in either case. Yes, Danny is the better one because what is he going to say? Football 100%.
I was a pro athlete.
Right?
But
it's the exact same result with Rickard.
Take Danny out of it and say it's Deshaun. Deshaun or Rickard, who should she sit beside?
Deshaun.
Deshaun's a better speaker than Rickard.
I disagree with that.
I think you split the vote. I think if you're, I don't know if she's smart enough to realize this, but I think Rickard is though. I think that Rickard and Shan's stories are so intertwined. It's because they have all this time on that Ua tribe that no one else was there for. It's kind of hard to really decide who gets credit for what from that tribe in those days. Although we know they emerged together from it.
I disagree. I think it's Pulp Fiction, John Travolta, Samuel Jackson, right? So intertwined. But when everything is said and done, John Travolta is put for Best Actor and Samuel Jackson is put for Best Supporting. It's the same thing in this case.
You're saying Shan is John Travolta?
Sham is going to be John Travolta and Rickard is going to be recognized as Samuel Jackson. Everyone likes Samuel Jackson, but he's listed as supporting. John Travolta is listed as Best Actor. That's
John Travolta got killed. Spoilers.
Yeah, Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis took him out with the Pop-Tarts. With the Pop-Tart out of the thing.
Zed's dead, baby.
Zed's dead, and maybe and Rickard's gonna walk the earth and get in adventures. Anyway, that's enough Pulp Fiction references. All right, So I don't know. I'm kind of really. I want. This is all I want. I want Heather to be voted out next.
I
Put her
kind
out
of
of her
want.
misery.
I say this
kinda
every
want-
week.
I kind of want Danny to be voted out soon.
Sure,
Like,
sure.
I want
Heather,
him. I don't want
Danny,
him to coast to third place. Like I want
Me
him
either, but I
gone.
don't want Heather to coast there either.
He's just an inconsequential number, and like I just don't think he's playing the game. The other players I feel like at least are somewhat playing the game. Even Heather is doing more than Danny.
Heather has Nasir's vote.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She already got one vote.
I just think Danny is just like who did you vote for, Coach? Okay, I got it.
Well, Evie, I think like Danny's so predictable because he's just like we got to go to Evie, we got to get out like whoever he thinks is a threat, right? So I think from Danny's point of view, he's just like let's get out whoever the biggest comp threat is. Was
Evie a comp threat?
Yes,
Yes,
because remember the one where she had to
Won
move
two
the
in a
things
row.
with her feet, right?
Right.
She's won 2 immunities.
Okay, so who's Danny's? Is he going to be going after Xander now because of comp threat?
Yes, and probably Erica. They'll be at the top of his list right now.
Yeah. He look, if he plays Madden, he blitzes all the time.
Look, Rickard also won. He also won the challenge.
Yeah, I think
Rickard's on his team.
Rickard's on his team for now, but I think Rickard would be someone he would cut Rickard before Shan because Shan will never beat him in anything.
Deshaun also did very well in this last challenge.
Deshaun did not help his case with Danny. If you're
Deshaun's
thinking
on
of
his
it,
team.
yeah, Deshaun's on his team for the moment, so he's okay with it. But he would rather I think that Danny's thinking like hearts, I got to get rid of this Queen of Spades when I can. I got to get rid of this. So he's kind of waiting for his opportunities. Obviously, people he's not working with, he's going to prioritize the comp threats of those people until they're gone. And once it's only his alliance members left, he will prioritize them based on the threat to him. That's how he's playing. That's a very methodical, simple game, but
you're putting too much credit. It's rock, paper, scissors. He's going to choose rock.
Rock. Mary's saying she seconds that about Heather. She would like to see Heather go.
It's not rock paper scissors though. It's what is it? Scissor rock paper. What did he call it? What did he call it? He didn't call it rock paper scissors.
Yeah, I think it's scissors rock paper.
Scissors rock paper is that what
Yeah,
is that?
jeez.
Is that what he called it?
Yeah.
We called it scissors rock paper. I don't know if I have it as an audio clip, but yeah, it's it was an interesting choice. Yeah, I think they all are maybe getting too much credit. But guess what? Somebody's got to get credit, and somebody's got to get $1 million from this group of 6 that are left. How many are left now? 1, 2, 3, 8 left, right? And looking at the previous, he wanted Rickard out. Are we talking about Danny? He's wanted Rickard out before.
I didn't see the next on.
Yeah, I didn't see the next time on Survivor.
Looking at the previous, he was like previously on.
Previously on Survive.
Yeah, I think Danny wants to get out whoever he thinks will potentially beat him, which is pretty much anybody can beat Danny in a given challenge. It just depends what it is. But Danny
What has he
thinks,
done, Dave? Where in any of the individual challenges has he come close?
Not yet.
No.
What's he so worried about challenges for?
There's going to be a challenge where he has to take a ball, put it underneath his arm, and rush like 10 yards with it. That's what's going to happen.
Like Danny is like he's this archetype you see in Big Brother and Survivor all the time. They think it's all about comp wins, and they think it's sort of like that's going to carry them at the end, right? Is that they were and a decent social game. That's just sort of like their game plan. I don't think it will work, but that's how he's playing.
Won't work.
Right? Because if there's somebody there that's maybe just as good at him in challenges or has just many immunity, he'll be like, well, I have I know he has no immunity wins yet, but he'll say, I have 3 immunity wins and this person has less, so therefore I deserve to win over them.
Yeah, but do you think Danny's ever watched a season of Survivor?
Maybe what they make him watch in Sequester. But
Sequester only.
Yeah, so he's probably watched a season.
Why is he on the show?
Because they needed the archetype filled.
And he's retired from football. And
I just think you get 16 people to go play this game. Can you not find somebody who actually wants to be on the show? Like, like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, why Survivor? Why Probst? Why are you bringing these people on? I literally don't know what the hell they're doing. Like just in complete, like, I don't even, like, I'm not even just talking about like watching Survivor, but like being able to socially maneuver throughout a game like this. Like, they just kind of, like, you're right, they look at it as team sports, red versus blue, and I'm on blue, and if I get voted out, it's because blue didn't play good enough.
That's true in the early stage, and often what just happens is that mentality kind of does carry throughout the rest of the game if it's a player that doesn't have like the sort of the vision to look otherwise. But Mary's saying yes, that the previews for next week were saying that he's looking at Rickard next. So hey, and do what that means. I think that means Rickard's going to get out Danny.
I could see that, yeah, and I would be all for it, because I just don't think I think he should get out Danny, because it's exactly what you said, Dave. You want Shan choosing between Deshaun and Ricard, you don't want Danny anywhere near that final four.
Well, he's somebody, yeah, like we all been saying, like, I think Danny and Heather are kind of interesting because they're both like sort of people you would take to the end because they're probably not going to win, but it's always a matter of timing. When do you take those players out? Do you let them go to the end because they're lower priorities, right? So it's in each week. When do you take the shot, or do you go and get an Erica out, ahead of them? Do you get a Xander out ahead of them? It seems like the only thing that saved Xander tonight was the fact that he won immunity. Like, he's at the very top of their list, or at least to flush his idol out is very much in their priorities right now. So
only 2 idols left,
but nobody wants to get Shan out with her idol or just flush her idol out. So that's not even talked about.
I could see that being changed. That's changing, because Deshaun is going, like, that's the one thing about the vote tonight. Like, Deshaun should have taken Leanna out. Because he needed to swing that narrative that Shan is God, and
he was too afraid of the repercussions.
Yeah,
he's afraid of Shan.
He is afraid of her, and I think everyone is. I think she rules through fear.
Yeah,
and
she's a Vanessa Russo.
Yeah, and it works to a point until it really works. I think in this like 26-day season. If this was 39 days,
she'd grow thin after.
She'd be gone so fast.
Yeah. Well, here's hoping, because I can win this. I can win the draft if she wins, even though I'm actively rooting against her every episode. That's how it goes sometimes. Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to say about tonight?
Nope.
We can wrap it up. All right, let's wrap up for this episode of Survivor. We'll be back in a week's time to talk about episode, I guess, 10 of Survivor 41. I think there is a title for this one.
It's going to be a big one.
Is that the actual title?
No, I don't know.
No, it's Baby with a Machine Gun.
Okay.
Is the name of the next episode.
Erica wins immunity and
who's the baby
confirmed.
And what is the machine gun, Jeff?
I think Erica wins immunity and gets an idol.
Oh,
nerds!
That would be our brother Rich, the other Mater brother.
Yeah.
But hey, you gave us a view.
Hey.
Gave us a view.
Rich.
Yes. So yeah, the next episode will be called "Baby with a Machine Gun."
Yep.
Who will get voted out? We don't know. But we'll be back here.
Episode. It's the
November 24th, 2021. It was the Thanksgiving Eve, I guess, right?
Yeah, the fake Thanksgiving episode. So.
So happy fake Thanksgiving to all the Americans.
Yep.
And we will be back for that, and only a few more episodes to go before we completely wrap up this season. So but I have been enjoying this. I do think that this has been interesting, even though it's not necessarily the greatest gameplay.
I miss Survivor so much. It's so great for it to be back.
Yeah, I'm glad it's back too. And also check out our other podcasts here on Super Mater Brothers Podcasting. We talked about Marvel movies and TV shows. Most recently, we talked about the new movie Eternals. We talked about that for like a couple hours, breaking all that down. Which we did with all of the new releases in 2021, and like Black Widow and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings and WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's all there. And we're going to be adding Hawkeye and Spider-Man, No Way Home, and all the other things that are coming up in Marvel. So if you like those podcasts, check them out. If you like those products, check out our podcast to go with them. And as well,
when are you guys going to do Tiger King too?
Is that released yet?
Yeah, it just came out. We're going to watch it soon.
Okay, so soon I hope we're gonna we did do the first season of Tiger King, and the next one is on the docket, so we will be getting to that. And we've talked about other shows like Westworld and Big Brother and The Serpent. So check out all those things. And also we have another channel called Live Long and Podcast where we talk about Star Trek. We just wrapped up our original series podcast. We watched all 79 episodes of Star Trek: The Original Series with my dad Ted, Jeff's dad too, Cavalier's dad too. So we're very proud of all that. We talked about every episode of original series. We are going to be moving on to an Enterprise podcast as well. And then Tuesday nights we talk about Star Trek: Deep Space Nine. When watching all of those episodes in order, we just talked about Rules of Engagement last night. Next week's episode is Hard Time with Chief O'Brien going to the mine prison. And then in terms of new Star Trek, we are tomorrow night is a busy night. Thursday, as we've been doing for the last 4 weeks, we've been talking about the new show Star Trek Prodigy, the new Nickelodeon show for Star Trek. Well, it's an animated show. It's aimed at kids under 12, I'd say. And I've been covering that with Jessica Chan and Davin Skellhorn, who's a cousin of Jeff and I's, from his own Star Trek podcast called Locutors of Trek, which you should definitely check out. And then tomorrow night, we're also going to be talking about the premiere of Star Trek Discovery as the 4th season kicks off. I'll be talking about that at 10 p.m. with Adam Woodward and Michael Chan. So lots going on in the realm of new Star Trek podcasts. Plus, we have Star Trek Radio Theater that's coming back. That's where we do reenactments of Star Trek episodes and different things. We're going to be doing Star Trek Lower Decks, an episode called Wedge Douche, which Control L, and I'm just going to quickly show that to you guys too here on the screen. So we'll be doing this next Saturday night. We got Jaemeel and Jeff and I will all be playing different parts in this. I'm going to be doing, who am I doing? I'm doing Ma and Captain Rebner from the Packleds, and Jaemeel, you're going to be playing Commander Jack Ransom and Lieutenant Kayshawn and Starfleet Cadet. Jeff's going to be playing Lieutenant Shax. So if you want to hear us do some voices, check that out. And also in a month's time, we're going to be doing the next iteration, which is going to be Star Trek First Contact, which is going to be a whole movie. And we'll be announcing that cast pretty soon, as soon as I can get the poster together. But everyone you see here, and Adam Woodward, will be joining us for that as well. So lots going on in the Star Trek Radio Theater, and also Trivial Debates, our third channel, where we argue about movies, TV, sports, in like a monthly game show format. Jody Simpson's going to be hosting the November edition. That will be coming up on November 28th. Contestants still to be confirmed, but Chris can't do it, so I'm still looking for contestants. All right, so that's it. And also check out my son's podcast. It's called Let's Talk About Fighting Games, which you can find on Spotify or wherever you get your audio podcasts. That's about video games where there's fighting. So anyway, lots going on in the podcast universe. And we need a clip to take us away. What should we go with, guys? We're gonna find out who's who in the zoo as was the name of this episode tonight. Thank you, Jaemeel. Thank you, Jeff, and we will see you in a week's time.
So I think we're gonna find out like who's who.